We're ready. Welcome to Run the Day, the daily show from all of us here at the Run the Play Network. I'm here with my main man, Jack, and we're talking about winners and losers of the MLB Trade Deadline today. But before we get started, Jack, how you doing today?
Good, man. Thanks for having me. I just want to shout out Ant and Joe. Really excited to be back. Busy week last week with trade deadline and Jeopardy, but really excited to be back, and happy Monday to everybody.
Yeah, so the trade deadline was insane to say the least. And the only appropriate place to start is with your Baltimore Orioles, who I think are a massive winner at this deadline.
Yes, I think the Orioles did win this deadline, but it wasn't for what they got for this season. It's probably not even for what they got next season. A lot of the top prospects that they received at this trade deadline, the top two from the Padres, Cobb Hightower, and then Boston Bateman, they did go down to single A Delmarva. Could that just be to get them used to the Orioles organization? It could be. I expect them in high A by the end of the year, like September call-ups to replenish guys going up. But those were two of my favorites that the Orioles got in return. But the two pitchers that they got back in the Mullins trade, I believe it was Garcia and Nunez, I'm pretty sure. I can double check on that. But those two guys, they can both touch 100. One of the guys I'm pretty sure touched like 104.5. Let me just make sure I got the names right. Anthony Nunez and Ramon Gomez. Those two guys, I believe they both touched 100. And I'm just, as an Orioles fan, I'm excited for probably 2027. And don't count the Orioles out for next year, too, because the Gregory Soto trade, two good prospects that I believe are in AA and AAA, respectively. Going to butcher the name, one of them. But Cameron Foster was one of the guys who they got in return for that trade. Really excited for him. But who's one of your sneaky winners of this deadline, Joe?
I say for me, it's not really a sneaky winner because they're always going to be one of the teams that's brought up when it comes to this deadline. They really field it, but it's Houston. It's always going to be Houston here. Is yes, we have concerns about next year, but next year doesn't matter if you get a ring this year. Is Isaac Paredes has been huge for this Astros team. And to lose him for the year
Right.
is devastating, especially with how bad this lineup has been at times. So to get Carlos Correa back, who all of a sudden remembered to lift the ball when he went back to Houston, yeah, this Astros team looks pretty damn good. On top of that, too, you got Ramon Urias, who I know you were upset when we were doing the deadline stream, but I think he is a great insurance policy given how frail this Astros infield really is. I think he is a fantastic piece for them just to go in and fill the gaps if need be a platoon bat if need be. I think Houston is 100% the winners of this deadline. They didn't even have to give up too much, too. That's the thing, is they hung on to their top prospect, unlike, San Diego. But that's aside from the point, is they just did fantastic. I think Houston, by far, is the big winner of the deadline.
Yeah, I agree with you right there. Ramon Reyes, Carlos Correa, two guys who are going to shape that infield. But as an Orioles fan, it kind of sucks to lose a Reyes. But if he's going to be a platoon guy for Houston, so be it. But I think another sneaky team was the Philadelphia Phillies because they were already a complete team. You have Bryce Harper at first base, Nick Castellanos in the outfield, a great rotation, one of the best DHs in all of baseball, Kyle Schwarber. And then you add on another a decent / solid outfielder in Harrison Bader, and you get Jhoan Durán. You trade away Eduardo Tate, catcher. I didn't really like that because JT Realmuto is kind of falling out of his, let's so say, prime. But giving up Mick Abel, who going to Minnesota, Mick Abel's going to do great in Minnesota, I think. Next year, I don't know what the heck Minnesota did at the trade deadline. We'll get into that tomorrow, I'm sure, with the losers of the deadline. But I kind of liked the deadline for Philly.
Yeah, they again, it's really about, did you pay the extortionary prices that a lot of these teams are asking? And yes, they did. And yes,
Right.
giving up Eduardo it kind of sucks. But Real Muto, like, he is not the best catcher in baseball anymore. I would say he hasn't been since at least 2022. I would argue 2021. But, hardware lasts forever.
Right.
And the big thing with Philly that really cost them in the past two postseasons is the bullpen. Is the bullpen had been god awful. So, yeah, you had to get Jhoan Durán at all costs. And just to be able to go and say, you know what? F it. We're going to give up Tate. We're going to give up Abel. We're going to get a cost controlled reliever who still has a lot of years for us. And on top of that, I'm sure you saw the videos of his entrance coming into Philadelphia. Electric.
Jhoan Durán, yeah. With Duran.
Especially when, in the postseason, that building's going to explode. But for me, Harrison Bader, I think, was the key piece. Is this Phillies lineup?
Yeah, another win. Go ahead.
I've been beating the drum that, this lineup isn't as good as you guys think it is here. It's really being carried by three guys and then people who get hot and cold at kind of, I don't want to say the right time, but enough to mask the cold streaks of others. If Bohm's hot, Castellanos isn't. If Castellanos is hot, Bohm isn't. So to get Harrison Bader, who just extends the lineup a little bit more, adds really good defense in center field. Brandon Marsh can now play a corner outfield spot, and I think be a plus defender there too. Really mask Castellanos. I think that's what's going to be the big thing for them. As I said in 2022 when they got Marsh, is that was the move of the deadline. And it turned out to be a really good move for them, and it helped that defense tremendously. So to do that again, but essentially get a better bat and an electric closer, I think they're the favorites in the National League. I really do. I don't see how you beat Philadelphia in a 7-game series.
I think the only team who can beat, one of the only teams who can beat Philadelphia, talking about trade deadline, AJ Preller and his Padres. He went out, got Mason Miller. Yes, he traded away the number 3 prospect in baseball, but you get Mason Miller, who's been solid. You get another starter to help out your rotation in JP Sears, who is he the best? Is he one of the top? I'm even going to go say top 50 starters in the league right now? Probably not. Definitely not, actually. But I think that was a solid trade for San Diego. A trade that maybe they overpaid on was the Laureano and O'Hearn trade. Well, Laureano got a triple and a home run this weekend. Sure, nobody's saying, I don't think anybody in San Diego's organization is super sad about that, because I think the highest prospect they traded away was in Double-A? Because Hightower and, I keep wanting to say Mayfield, but not Mayfield, Bateman are in Low-A with the Orioles right now. And they're really the top 2 from that trade. So I think that was kind of a fair trade, because the Orioles also added in cash considerations, which I think they added into every trade. But I think a lot of people are going to come at me and say the Padres lost this deadline. I don't know how you can say that when you get one of the top 5 closers in baseball, maybe even top 3, and a really solid left fielder and a decent designated hitter / first baseman and outfielder.
Yeah, as much as I like it, I hate to say it. The Padres, yes, they are winners because they did a lot. Yes, did they pay too much? Did they pay the 2022 hyperinflation prices? Yes. But you have to kind of get this done at this point, because the National League, this is the Dodgers. Don't you dare clip me saying the Padres are winner here. But the Dodgers, this is the weakest they will be, I think, in the next 5 years here. So you have to go for it if you're San Diego, if you're Philadelphia, if you're Chicago, but we'll touch on them tomorrow. So, yeah, did they need bullpen help? Yes, but, wasn't going to help them beat LA in 2024. Let's be honest here. But to go from Mason Miller, who don't look at the ERA, look at the FIP. The FIP is fantastic. Robert Suárez, Morejon, Adam, Estrada, if you get a lead after the 5th, you're kind of screwed if you're the opposing team because San Diego is just coming at you. And then, JP Sears, Nestor Cortez, maybe they're not the names you think of as like, oh, these are good pitchers in the big 2025. I want to push back a little bit because no one thought Michael King would be a fantastic starter. Turns out Michael King is a fantastic starter.
Right.
No, I mean, everyone said for a while Nick Pivetta has the best stuff plus of any pitcher in baseball. They unlocked Pivetta, and Pivetta has been fantastic for them this year. So if the Padres say, we want Sears and we want Cortez, you start to sit up a little bit and be like, why do you want these two names in particular here? And for the offense, this offense. Aside from Freddie Fermin, who, again, this is the Padres, I think they found something with him. This is a deep lineup here. Is Arias, Cronenworth, Bogarts, not great, but he's still decent enough. Laureano, Merrill, Tatis, Gavin Sheets coming off the bench. This is a deep lineup that will grind out at bats. This might be the year for San Diego here, but we'll see how Darvish, Pivetta, and Cease has not been fantastic by any means. But if those three can get it together, this Padres team is deadly. And it doesn't matter if you gave up Leo. If you win a championship.
Right. I think Leo De Vries was going to be maybe 2 years? I think he was in high A. So at least 2 years. So you get Laureano, who is a club option after this year. You get O'Hearn, who's going to be a free agent, but he seems to be liking San Diego so far. Not sure Miller's contract. I think he still has 1 year left.
Mason Miller, I think, is not a free agent till 2030. Let me look this up right now.
Oh, wow. Okay. But going into another winner who I'm going to base this off my thoughts on Thursday. Their debut were absolutely horrible. But I'm still counting the Yankees as a deadline winner. It pains me to say this, but they get Jake Bird, they get Camilo Doval, they get David Bednar. Doval and Bednar was just crazy. Like, I was like, okay, they got Bednar. The Phillies got Durán. I was sitting there on the stream. Who's going to get Doval? Who's going to get Doval? Who's going to get Doval? And then the news came in that the Yankees got Doval. And I was like, okay, this bullpen's going to be elite. Turn on the game Friday, watching Yankees Marlins on MLB TV. Go fish. Got to watch Kyle Stowers and Connor Norby, former O's. And I just see Bird, Bednar, and Doval just implode. What the heck was that? That's not good. Well, Jake Bird, that might be how he plays every game, or some games. But I don't expect that out of Doval, at least. Again, so I'm still counting them as winners. And they also got a Volpe replacement. Jose Caballero. That's Yankees baseball, yeah. They get Jose Caballero. Thought that was pretty good. So I'm still counting them as a winner. We'll turn it around.
Yeah, you get swept by the hottest team in baseball for the past month. Let's not overreact a little bit because bullpens are so volatile that it just takes one bad game to kind of blow up everything. One guy who doesn't have it. Why do you think Tampa Bay has never won a World Series? Why do you think Milwaukee has never won a World Series? Bullpenning your way to a World Series is impossible. But, like we were saying with San Diego, is if you have to face Devin Williams, Bednar, Doval, Weaver, Bird, Tim Hill, yeah, you're kind of screwed in this one. On top of the fact that, the Yankees actually have a good lineup or a good rotation of Rodon, Fried, Luis Gil's coming back at some point. Dodger legend Ryan Yarbrough was solid for them for a while. Will Warren is fine, but that's a good playoff rotation in my opinion. So, yeah, exactly what the Yankees kind of need to do. And say what you want about Brian Cashman. The one thing he does well here is at least he identifies bullpen talent. He's better than that at anybody, quite frankly. And yes, I know Tampa Bay can turn you and me into like a 2 ERA pitcher if they really wanted to here. So, yeah, that's exactly what they needed to do. You cannot pay the prices for starters. There's a reason why, you can argue the premier starter that was moved was Charlie Morton or Chris Paddock, because all the really good starters were going for incredibly high prices. No one was going to pay that. And then, I mean, I joke about this, but I think we have to be serious about the fact that what happened in Game 5 kind of broke Anthony Volpe. He's not been the same since.
No.
And I only say that because if you look at the numbers, he was a plus 14 outs above average at shortstop last year. He was a phenomenal defender. He was the kind of defender people talk about Derek Jeter being, quite frankly. And to go from that to a minus 5 outs above average, leading the league in errors at short, it's rough. It's really rough here. And I think just to get someone in there to maybe light a fire under his ass, or in the worst case scenario, take over for Volpe, is not necessarily the worst thing to do here, because he needs a reset in the worst kind of way. And Caballero does not even play a bad shortstop, mind you. He is a pretty good shortstop, in my opinion. But, in a very clumsy transition here, when Jose Caballero does come up at short, why not make a bet on him and see if he can do that with Anthony Volpe? And, of course, you have to bet with our sponsor, Boom Fantasy. You think Jose Caballero is going to steal a couple bases in his first start at short? You think he's homering? Use code RTP on Boom for a risk-free bet up to $100. You can bet on any of the names here. Maybe not Mason Miller or any of the relievers, because that's just crazy. You're asking to lose money at that point. But if it's a risk-free bet up to $100, why not try it? Boom Fantasy, code RTP. Any other winners of the deadline for you, Jack?
Yeah, I'm going to ask you a little trivia question. How many World Series have the Mariners won?
0.
If you want more trivia questions like that, join the RTP Discord. Monthly trivia going on now. Winner gets a $25 Amazon gift card. I believe the link is in the bio of this video and any other RTP videos. But I think another winner of the deadline's got to be the Mariners. They get Eugenio Suárez back. They get Josh Naylor back. 2 big power bats. I think that puts them in contention for probably not World Series this year, but I think I wouldn't call them a winner necessarily, but I would say they upgraded.
They definitely needed to upgrade. I think their offensive struggles have been a little overblown. Yes, were you running Miles Mastroboni out there for a lot of time? Yes. Was Dodger legend Luke Raley your starting first baseman for a good chunk of the year? Also, yes. But, as much as we kind of have made fun of the J-Rod All-Star prediction or selection, he's been better this year. Cal Raleigh is playing like the MVP. And, they have some MF named Randy that's been tearing it up for them in the outfield. So, yeah, this lineup has been really good, but they have the glaring holes at the corner spots. So to get Suárez, who is beloved in Seattle, to see the reaction to everyone has had to him coming back, I think it was a great to get Suárez. Josh Naylor adds, a tough at-bat to this lineup. I think this lineup, call me crazy, I think this is a good lineup now. This is a lineup that can compete with the best of them.
Julio Rodriguez, Randy Arozarena. You've got Josh Naylor now, Eugenio Suárez, JP Crawford, Cal Raleigh. JP Crawford might not be prime JP Crawford, but he's still a solid bat. And you've got the rotation. Brian Wu, Logan Gilbert. Shoot, I'm blanking on the name. Help me out here, Joe. Logan Gilbert, Kirby, Brian Wu, George Kirby, Bryce Miller. When they're all healthy and on their A game, I'm scared because the Orioles have a series against them next week.
The only thing that kind of prevents me from saying Seattle is a winner is they didn't get bullpen help, and they kind of needed bullpen help. Yes, did you get Dodger legend Caleb Ferguson? Yes, but he is not going to fix your bullpen here. Is the only two arms that I would say I really trust in this bullpen, and trust is a strong word given that both of these men walk 10% of the hitters they face, are Munoz and Brash, because they can strike out people with the best of them. Their stuff is electric. But after that, Gabe Spear, Colin Snyder, Juan Burgos, that's the bullpen you're going with in October. They need, I get, Jerry DePoto does not like trading prospects, and I get, Dustin May went for the Red Sox top 5 prospect at this point. But you had to do something here to fix this bullpen in the worst possible way. You're the Mariners with great pitching development. I think you could have found like a Lucas Urseg or somebody at this deadline to just really beef up this bullpen.
Yeah. But any other winners for you, Joe, before we wrap it up?
I don't have any more winners here. For me, the 3 teams that came out ahead are San Diego, even though they paid too much, Houston, Baltimore, and Philadelphia. Everyone else, I think, didn't buy enough or sell enough for me to be considered a winner. But this was such an eventful trade deadline that the real winners were us the whole time.
Yeah, I think my top 4 or 5, I think Baltimore's in there because 2027 they'll be dangerous. Got to throw Philly in there. You get a lockdown closer on like I said, decent or solid outfielder in Harrison Bader. I'm even going to go Yankees. Like I said, despite their debuts, still 3 solid bullpen arms who have been solid throughout their career. I know they've all had moments, but every MLB player has moments. Look at Anthony Volpe right now. And then I think I got to throw the Astros and Padres in there as well.
Yeah. And then just to go over the schedule for everyone else, Jack and I are back tomorrow to talk about losers of the trade deadline. Will my Dodgers be on this list? Probably, but we'll see tomorrow. After that, Anthony and Phil are...
I'll save that for tomorrow.
Yeah. After that, Anthony and Phil are back on Wednesday to talk about Eastern Conference predictions, a.k.a. finally pure distilled mid as a conference. And then on Thursday, Anthony and a special guest, Richie, will be talking about the sneaky moves of the NBA offseason. Yeah, the MLB isn't the only one with a crazy flurry of transactions. The NBA's got a ton, and I think those two will give you some names that'll be 100% on your radar this year. And on Friday, Anthony and Zach are going to go over their AFC division predictions, the National League of the NFL, where every team could essentially win it because, my God, the AFC is crazy, and I would love to see those two pick Cincinnati to win the North. I had to.
Not going to lie, I think the Bengals are – I think this is a bold prediction. I know this is an MLB show, but I think the Bengals could make it pretty far this year. And they're not winning the North. I think it's going to be hard to beat the Ravens. Nope. I'm not being biased here, but I think the Bengals are going to at least make it to the divisional round, if not face the Ravens in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah. But definitely
just a little bold prediction right there.
More bold predictions like that all week throughout the stream. Check out the content because it's going to be 100% fantastic. Don't forget to join the Discord. A lot of great ball talk going on there. There is going to be a banger of a trivia question. Ant might ask about the MLS. You never know which question comes up there in the Discord. Don't forget to sign up at Boom Fantasy using code RTP. Anything else before we head out, Jack?
Nope.
Well, from all of us at the Run the Play Network.
See you guys tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Take care and play ball.